The solution for this question is on the screen. So if you just want to look at it and work out what to do, you can do that. Pause the video, have a look. If you want the explanation, then stay tuned because we're going to go through it now. This question looks confusing because initially there are three unknowns, A, N, and B. And if we're trying to expand the brackets, there's two things we don't know. We don't even know the power of the N. And so you may think, oh, it's so confusing, I don't know what to do, I'm not going to do the question. That would be a mistake. We should always try and do a question. So let's take the binomial expansion and see if we can try to do anything. Well, the first term is just comprised of the first term in the brackets raised to the power, and so that is 2 to the n. Of course, the a to the x is not in the first term, and we don't have to deal with a combination for that either. All right, at this point, we should have a break and say that correlates to the 32 in what they told us. And so we actually know that 32 equals 2 to the n, which of course means that n must be 5, because 2 to the 5 is 32. Well, we actually know what n is now, which means we can go back and try and find the second term of the expansion. For the second term, we would do nc1. We now know that n is 5, so we can do 5c1. And then we take the 2 and raise it to the power of n minus 1. But again, n was 5, so now we know we should raise it to the power of 4. And ax together gets raised to the power of 1, so we can just write ax. Well, that actually gives us something that we can solve as well, because they told us the coefficient of the x variable in the expansion is negative 40. So we can say that negative 40 is equal to 5, c1 is just 5, multiplied by 2 to the 4, which is 16, multiplied by a. We don't use the x because we took out the coefficient of the x's. Well, that's an equation we can solve. If we rearrange it, 5 times 16 is 80. We'll get a is negative 40 on 80. And simplifying, a is negative a half. Okay, so let's keep making progress here. For the next term of the expansion, we would go 5c2. We take 2 and now raise it to the power of 3. And we take the second part, ax, and raise it to the power of 2. All right, they tell us that b is the coefficient of the a squared term, which means that we know what b equals. B is equal to 5c2 is 10, 2 cubed is 8, and a is negative a half, so we have negative a half squared. 10 times 8 times a quarter is 20, so b is 20. We've solved the problem. N is 5, a is negative a half, and b is 20.